5, 4, 3, 2.
What makes you say that?
Hello, friends. Welcome to What Makes You Say That. This is episode 6. My name is Brian Williams, and I'm happy to be joined once again by my esteemed colleague and former minor hockey referee, Mr. John Kerr. How's it going for you today, John?
Hey, nice day today. Nice to be here.
Around here, we like to warm up before the big game. So are you ready for this week's warm-up question?
I'm ready.
So what are some nicknames that you have been given throughout the years?
As a kid, I grew up in a rural community. We had a number of First Nation communities around us, and my dad, who worked very closely with these communities, he always walked like a deer, or so they said. And his nickname became Jumper because that was the name of what they were calling a deer. It was a jumper. And then because I was his son, I was Jumper Junior. And but the one, I guess, you heard it. But in the locker room, for sure, I was always Johnny. Never John, always Johnny. It was always a welcome with a Johnny, and it always made me feel like I was part of a team. So, those are my only nicknames.
Yeah, and I called you Johnny once in front of a large crowd of people, and realized that that's not where we were at. So we'll stick.
I remember that. It was one of the four funny moments we've shared.
Well, today we have a fun sports-themed episode for you. We'll be joined by BH Blazers hockey coaching duo Sarah Zacharias and Regan Boulton. We'll also chat with junior school phys ed teacher Darlene Sveinson on how phys ed learning is continuing remotely in junior school. Finally, we'll catch up with our BH Sports Captain Madison Allard. That and so much more, but the episodes never really start until we hear that quote.
All right, so as you may or may not know, I'm a huge Packers fan. You can't see me. I got my hat on today and my T-shirt for the sports broadcast, so it's only fitting that we go with the quote by the great Vince Lombardi. And Lombardi said, individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company, a society, and a civilization. It's all about teamwork today.
Well, that's very fitting for the special guests that we're going to bring in next. We got a great episode planned. Stay tuned. We're very excited to welcome BH Blazers coaches Sarah Zacharias and Regan Boulton to the show. We're going to do something a little bit different this week as we've tricked them into staying with us for most of this episode. How are you two doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us. It's nowhere else I'd rather be on a sunny 27-degree day on this podcast chatting about hockey. So, yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
And Sarah?
I'm doing just as well. Reminiscing now that we're all here chatting together about our times in the hallway and how many minutes of your lives I have stolen just trying to talk hockey and beg a minute of your time. So it's really nice to see your faces and hear your voices again. Thanks for having us.
Well, it's our pleasure. This is going to be so much fun. We've been asking a lot of our guests how they've been handling the quarantine and basically what have you guys been up to?
Yeah, so at first it was a little tough because we came straight off the season, basically right into quarantine. And for us, our travel schedule, we are always on the go, practicing all the time. So at first it was a pretty big adjustment to get used to the go 24/7, to doing absolutely, not being able to leave the house, not going to the airport, not going to the rink every day. So it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I think we've both kind of found our groove in working from home and how we can stay connected to the girls and to our, our fan community and all that. So yeah, it was a bit of an adjustment, but, I think we're making the most of our time with our girls virtually as best we can. So yeah, we've just been, this week we got some workouts planned with the girls virtually on Zoom. We just had a meeting today with former alumni Blazer Janelle Kohanchuk, who took the girls through some nutrition talks, some workout talks, what they should be focusing on right now during quarantine to be best prepared for when season starts. So, yeah.
And so, Sarah, are you just kind of working out, running 20 hours a day, or how's that going for you?
Yeah, I'd like to say I am now officially 30 and thriving. I celebrated my 30th birthday last week. Also got engaged.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Got engaged before that. So lots of happiness going on in my life. Like Boot said, took a little bit of time to adjust. The week prior to our season ending, I actually broke my skate. These were 10-year-old skates that I had given to me in my college days. I'm really much not looking forward to having to buy a new pair. So this actual whole COVID has given me time to look online at the exact pair of skates I want, and I'm not rushed to make any decisions. So being off the ice is certainly an adjustment for all of us, especially our girls. But like Regan said, the Zoom workouts that we're having, 3 times a week, we're seeing the girls' faces. And honestly, we always say it whenever we're on the ice, being with them is the best part of our day. So if we get to enjoy that even somewhat of a different way right now, I'm happy. So yeah, all is well over in my life.
You broke your skate. I've had the pleasure of taking your coaching clinic with Hockey Canada there. And I bet you it's because of all that great edge work you do. too much torque. Amazing.
Too much torque, too much edge work, but
great edge work. I gotta say it.
And John, we're 62 days in now. What's going on in the Kerr household?
Well, I'm not to be a Debbie Downer, but the goldfish died last night, so that's what's actually changed this week. And I did manage to hop on my bike and ride over for a driveway visit with you, so that got me out of the house. Otherwise, it's kind of the same, and then the goldfish died, and then the same. So, but we're okay. There's some tears, but we coupled them with some hugs, and that was pretty nice. So, yeah.
Well, I didn't expect that news. There it is. 62 days in. We're going to talk more hockey with Coach Sarah and Coach Regan as we move forward. Let's get this episode started.
How trivial.
It's time now for one of our favorite segments of the podcast, and that is BH Staff Trivia. Since we have you both here today, I think it would be fun to give me and John a break and ask you two to use the clues today. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
So technically, since there's 2 of you, this is actually going to be a little bit easier than when John and I have to tackle it solo. So I may have increased the level of difficulty here today. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Clue number 1. This BH staff member got married at the Vatican inside St. Peter's Basilica 7 years ago this Sunday.
So probably Catholic.
Yeah.
Boots, I got no clue. I think, are you good for us to take another clue here?
I have no idea. Super cool, but no idea.
And just for the record, it's also the same anniversary as Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, which some folks may find more interesting than the Vatican thing. Clue number 2. This BH staff member has a signed DVD from Johnny Depp and once saw James Corden in person in London.
This is the coolest life I've ever. I don't know who this is, but
I'm jealous.
I hope I'm friends with whoever this is.
All right. Are you guys requesting clue number 3?
Yeah, absolutely are.
All right. This BH staff member has already called 3 countries home: Canada, USA, and the Philippines. They were born in the Philippines and came to Canada when they were 16. I wish you could see their faces.
Boots, Ernestine?
Yes, because she Ernestine was at Cornell. Ernestine.
That is correct. The answer is Ernestine De Silva, our executive assistant to the head of school. Great job, ladies. Excellent work.
Wow. Sarah, I'm impressed.
Thank you. And I am excited because Ernestine and I are quite close. So now I can see that DVD signed copy of Johnny Depp.
I want to see the wedding pictures.
Seriously.
All right. Well, great job. You nailed it. Point goes to you. Well, Sarah and Regan aren't quite used to this kind of pace, so they needed an intermission. In the meantime, John and I were able to chat with BH Sports Captain Madison Allard. which is coming up next. We're excited to be joined now by BH Sports Captain Madison Allard. Maddie, how are you doing today, and how are you staying active?
I'm doing pretty good today, thank you. As for staying active, I've been doing a lot of at-home workouts, some that I've created myself, some that I find online, some that my coaches have given me. I've also been going on lots of runs and bike rides. I like to go to the ball diamonds when it's nice out, now that all the snow is melted. And
Sure.
yeah, just like being outside and playing around with my family. So that's how I've been staying active.
I know I've had the pleasure of evacuating the building with you during a fire drill, and I know we haven't had the opportunity to go for that long walk.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear you're still staying active.
Yeah, the fire drill. That was a funny one.
I wonder if that's what one thing that people are missing is those fire drills. That hasn't come up yet, surprisingly. People have mentioned that they're missing the stairs, though. That has come up.
Yeah.
The bell is so soothing.
Yep.
So, Maddie, there are a number of school sports that our students just were not able to participate in this spring and summer. So which sports do you think students are likely missing right now?
Well, as for school sports, there's actually quite a few that they're missing right now. Badminton, ultimate, soccer, and outdoor track and field. All of those athletes didn't get a chance to participate in this season, which is very unfortunate.
I just want to thank you for acknowledging that badminton is an actual sport.
Of course it is.
Yeah, that's never a question, Mr. Kerr. So, and what about you outside of the school? What's happened to your spring summer sports schedule?
For me, right now, my softball season's been postponed a bit. We should have been starting already. We're hoping to start in beginning of June, hopefully. I know that volleyball, like club volleyball, got cut short, unfortunately. I mean, at least golf is still on. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about any other out-of-school sports. I know hockey got cut just a bit short at the end, and they're probably missing out on some summer training right now.
So as our sports captain, our athletes look to you and, you know, your face and message during assemblies and things. And so what message do you have for them right now?
For all the student athletes, I would tell them to keep training, keep working at what they play, stay active. Also, right now is a really good time to start setting goals, short-term, long-term, post-season goals, just so you're ready and you have something to look forward to and something that you know that you could work throughout the year on. I'd also say take this time to work on yourself mentally and physically. Now is a good time to start mentally preparing for the season and also physically by, again, training. And don't overdo it because it's really easy to do like 3 workouts a day every day. And that's also not good. You don't want to go into the season with an injury. So yeah, just take it easy, but still stay on it.
I guess that's the difference is that I find it difficult to do 3 workouts a week. Never mind a day. I think you do an excellent job of having people remember that there is opportunity to do lots, even if you can't be with your teammates, right? And you've got to really capitalize on the opportunity. And that's what athletes do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great message. That was fantastic advice. You did lose me a little at 3 workouts a day is easy, but I'm going to have to take your word for that. Finally, what are you missing most about BH right now?
There's a lot that I'm missing about the school right now. I'm missing, of course, the students and the teachers. I'm missing everyone's smiling faces and actually being in class. I miss seeing Mr. Kerr and Mr. Williams looking over the atrium every day.
We miss that too.
Yeah. I also miss the common room a lot. I love that room. Miss taking naps in there. And I really miss advisory, actually, because right now would be the time where we'd usually go out for our walks and stuff. And those were my favorite parts of advisory. And yeah, we don't really get to do that anymore.
Nice to think about it, though.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's been a busy time for you, lots of exams this week and last week. And so I want to thank you for your time
and for the great message that you sent out to all the BH students and athletes today. Keep with it. We're almost at the end here. There's lots of celebrations to come, and we're looking forward to meeting up with everybody very, very soon.
Always nice to chat with you, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Since we have you two here, we might as well learn a few things as we go along. So are you ready and are you up for some hard-hitting questions? All right, so first question that I have, I think people are maybe wondering, some of your players might already know this, but how did you get into playing hockey and what other sports did you play growing up?
Great question. So I had an older brother. He is 2 years older than I am, and I wanted to be just like him. So I would always go to the rinks, to his games, his practices, and I told my parents I want to play. So I started skating when I was 3 and playing hockey when I was 4, and it all started because of my brother. So I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. And then as we got older, we kind of got to play against each other a little bit here and there. And then the rivalry began at a very, very young age.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Boots is also forgetting the second part of that question about her other sports that she plays. So I can touch on that. She is actually one of the top pitchers coming out of Brandon at her age. She was really good at both hockey and like fast pitch, not talking softball. She played boys AAA baseball as their starting pitcher. And let me tell you, this girl has a cannon on that arm.
Yeah,
Swing, bada, swing.
I remember the Stafford students dodgeball. She was a major advantage for us. Yes, I do remember that.
Except my dodging skills aren't so great. I can throw a ball, but the dodging is not so great. But yeah, thanks Zach for cluing in on that one. Yeah, I played a lot of sports growing up. Actually, baseball and hockey were number one. I played soccer. I was a golfer. Yeah, I kind of just did it all. I was very active. But yeah, which is great. I mean, you should always be into multi-sports. So.
And Sarah, how about you? How did you get into the game?
I was the son my father never had. So there's 3 daughters in our family. And my mom, is at a very young age, put all of us into gymnastics, dance, ballet, the quote unquote more feminine type of activities. And very young, I was an independent spirit and said, no thanks. We grew up right across the street was our community rink. So I saw kids playing there. From a very young age. So, 3 or 4 years old, started skating, hockey soon after that. All of my best friends growing up were the rink rats, the kids that just lived out there on the rink. Something that you don't see quite as often these days as kids are becoming more and more specialized at a younger age. Boots already alluded to that earlier, just the benefits of being a multi-sport athlete. In the winter, you couldn't get me off the ice. I spent every single evening and weekend after school from the time I could get home and get a meal in me to the time they would turn off the lights. And even still, my dad actually had a set of keys so we could go late at night and turn back on the community lights. And I used to
That's amazing.
Yeah, 1 or 2 in the morning. So during the winter, that's all I did. But then in spring and summer, I was into everything else. So I was a big time soccer player. And I actually played at the provincial level for soccer. I would argue that I was a better soccer player than I was a hockey player.
I was curious about your take on the single sport athlete, and I'm glad to hear that you're definitely in favor of multiple sports. But speaking of multiple sports, I've had the pleasure of working with both of you, but I also coached you in a sport you didn't mention. And I'm sad that you didn't remember badminton because it's a real sport. I keep having to say it's a real sport.
I'm so sorry. I was going to add in the sports that I played while I was at BH. I played a little bit of badminton here and there before I came to BH, but I never took any lessons. I never played it outside of the school year, which is why I think I forgot to add it. But yes.
But you brought the Selly, right? You brought the great Sellies every time we engaged in a
great Selly.
So
yeah, I absolutely love badminton, and I think honestly, racket sports, badminton, and anything with hand-eye is huge in terms of the translation of skill from on the court to on the ice. So I think it played a major role in my abilities as a hockey player for sure. So I'm sorry that I totally forgot.
No.
Days at BH.
Great plug for badminton.
Hey, I think badminton has been referenced almost as much as hockey on this podcast. So that's Mr. Kerr. John's doing a great job there. We'll switch gears a little bit. So let's talk about then, how did you get into coaching? And Sarah, I think I have an idea about this, and maybe a story that not a lot of people know. So why don't you tell us how it all began for you?
My coaching story, most people, you're right, Willy, don't know this, but my coaching story actually starts with you. For those that aren't aware, I came home from university in 2012 and started working for a company called WASAC, an organization that runs sports and after school activities for inner city kids and Aboriginal youth across Manitoba. And I was really enjoying my time there, and I got a call from Darlene Sveinson, who we're about to have a conversation with later on in this podcast. But Dar said that she knew of a coworker of hers that was coaching a female AAA team in Winnipeg, and they were looking for an assistant coach. So I went for a meeting. That's where I met Mr. Williams to everyone else, but to me, so he's always been Willy. So that's where I met Willy, and we hit it off, and the rest is history. I got to spend my first 2 years coaching AAA hockey with you as a mentor for me, and it was incredible. The amount that I learned, not only on the ice, but in terms of your what you brought to the team off ice, in your organization skills. Just, I think that relates to you being a teacher, just how organized you are, but importance that you brought to the idea of team first mentality and not just focusing in on the on ice stuff, but really what can we do to make ourselves the best team and to have that cohesion. And that's something that I have definitely, I hope at least, have brought with me from my days coaching with you with the ice to now the Blazers.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. I think you absolutely have, and you've taken it, far beyond anything you learned with me. But we had an amazing time coaching that team. We had such a blast. You brought so much to the table for us. We could not have done it without you. So a shout out back to the Winnipeg Ice. That was certainly great times. And Regan, how about you? How long have you wanted to be a coach, or where did it all start? I think I know the answer to that.
Yeah. So I think, I've always kind of been involved in coaching, more so in like skill development. So like back in the day when we were at BH, we had the Learn to Skate program, and I would go out and teach the young kids how to skate. And then, there'd be opportunities when I was at college to coach. And then again, when I was in Europe, I helped out with a bunch of youth teams when I was there. So I've always kind of liked being a coach and being in, that role model position and, passing on the knowledge that I've learned as a player onto other players. So, but it really started when I moved home from Europe. I was over there playing 2 years professionally. And then when I had moved home, a buddy of mine had reached out who coaches with the AAA Yellowhead Chiefs and asked if I would come out and be an assistant coach. So that's where it started for me, really getting into the coaching, not just, skill development and stuff like that, but actually being part of a team was with the AAA Yellowhead Chiefs. And yeah, that's just, it blossomed from there. I had, I had no idea that, I'd be in this position. I wanted to be a police officer. That's what I studied in university. So to see where I've come from and to where I am now, it's amazing. And there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah, well said. And there is nothing better than coaching and guiding youth through your favorite sport and whatever activity that you can help them with, for sure. What was one highlight from this season that you can kind of touch on before we go here? One of the major highlights from the Blazers prep hockey from this season. I
can see Boots is trying to think. She's trying to narrow it down. There's just so many. For me, this is a no-brainer. Every single year, this is my highlight. And I think it's partly to do with the time of year that it happens around. And it's partly to do with just the fact that it's a new start. So for me, it's always our team retreat. And then a close second would be the Garrity Cup. So for our team retreat, we usually do a week-long, really intensive training camp here in the city. So we're at the school, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the ice, sometimes twice a day, in the gym, working out twice a day. And it's a pretty intense week-long endeavor where the girls are getting to know each other. We're bombarding them with systems, tactics, everything. And then at the end of that week, we take them on the team hockey bus out to my cabin. And we spend the weekend out there for what we call the team retreat. And that's a little bit more easy easy pace. Boots, Dar, and myself probably put a month into the planning of a big event. We have a one-day event where it's these team activities. It's a lot of team builders, a lot of challenges. They have to go and uncover a treasure that's buried underneath the water, and all these crazy aspects that they have to do together. But the most fun is just seeing the girls starting to really bond and come together as a team. I would have to say that, bar none, that's always my favorite part of the year.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And then Zach touched on Garapi Cup. So that is definitely my favorite time of the year. The alumni come back since the program started in 2006, 2007, and we play the prep team in a hard fought match, but the prep team has never won. So
that's why you guys like it, because you win every
time. We win we're guaranteed. We're guaranteed to win every single year. And, it's just a great event to bring out alumni. We have alumni parents come out. We have, a lot of staff come out and support. And it's just a really great event. But what makes it even better is we have two of the best refs in the province of Manitoba come out and ref this game. And, we're super lucky to have them. And Johnny and Willy here.
The only two guys who will do it for free.
Exactly. But no, it's a great event in honor of, Miss Garapi at our school, who's been around the program since it started, has been, one of the biggest fans every single year. So, it's just a way to tribute to her and a great event to bring all our alumni back together. It's definitely the event that I look forward to the most.
I gotta just say that we I think might need to rename the Garapi Cup, because we always talk about how it's in honor of Miss Garapi and it's a tribute to her. And anybody that doesn't go to BH and know who Garps is thinks that this is in honorarium of her.
A memorial.
Thank you, that she's passed away. So I get asked that all the time, like, oh, who was she? And I'm like, well, Garps actually, she works down the hall from me.
Right here, yeah.
She's our biggest fan.
Well, that sounds great. Well, that's great. Those are great stories, great events, and we certainly enjoy playing that small piece of it with you at the Garapi Cup. But thanks very much for joining us in this kind of hard-hitting session. Let's see what else is in store the rest of the way. Well, we're excited to be joined now by junior school phys ed teacher Darlene Sveinson. How are you doing today, Dar?
Dar's amazing. Thank you for asking, Brian.
As usual. So we have a few questions. We just wanted to chat with you today about what's going on in junior school. So what is your main focus right now in terms of teaching junior school phys ed remotely?
Oh my goodness. So there is so much joy that goes on in that junior gym. And the joy comes from all the brilliant little people that step into that room. And so my main focus right now is just keeping that spirit alive. There's a lot of rituals that go on in the gym and in some of the activities that we do. And I'll tell you, one of the rituals, which has just came up today, which is just making my heart explode out of my chest, is that every time we do track and field, so we have track and field clubs throughout the year, and during our dynamic warm-ups, I don't know why. You know how you do something and then you do it once and then it becomes a tradition and forevermore. Yeah, you have to do it. So in part of this warm-up, we do this thing where we stand on one foot and I shout out 3, 2, 1, and then we say hiya, and we do this Karate Kid kick. So I do a video of a dynamic warm-up for the students to prepare them for their virtual track and field meet, which is actually today. We should be at Grant Park School today doing an outdoor track meet. What a gorgeous day that would be.
For sure.
Anyhow, I include this 3, 2, 1 hiya into their dynamic warm-up video, and like every student who actually videoed themselves following me doing this warm-up, they'd have a straight face, and all of a sudden at the 3, 2, 1 hiya, their faces just lit up. And so it was just like, those are the rituals that we need to keep alive. And that's keeping the spirit of what goes on in the gym awake. And that way it doesn't feel so different, even though, of course, it is a little different.
So what have you noticed about our junior school phys ed students lately?
Well, I'll tell you, so many of them have an incredible level of comfort with the camera. They're so comfortable in front of the camera. Like, they're just extremely natural and quite well spoken. And it's actually helping me with a current mantra that I've built into this time. And that is, can I live my life unedited? And they're really helping me to sort of embrace that. Can I just be unedited? And it's hard, it's hard to be in front of the camera and to not be overly self-conscious about every little thing. So they're doing an amazing job with camera comfort. And even the audio too. They've taught me the importance of connection through hearing the voice. When we first started, junior schools using Seesaw as our platform for connection with our students. And at first, most of my interaction with them was through text and through script. And then they started sending me audios. And as soon as I heard their voice, it was like immediate connection back to them. And I went, well, why am I not doing the same thing for them? And so I've started to use the audio function much more often. And I'm hoping that they are feeling a deeper connection to me through that. So that's something that they've taught me over the past couple of weeks. And the third thing that I've noticed lately in the students is, and I knew this before, but it has been proven to the nth degree, is that appreciation is a huge motivator. And the appreciation that they are expressing back to us as teachers, it goes a huge long way. It's like every time I hear their voices or get a message from them expressing how much they enjoyed something or how thankful they are that we've put something together for them, it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go do more. So without question,
that's
huge appreciation.
Sarah, Sarah, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of an inside loop here as to what Dar is doing in her phys ed class, because not only is she running all this curriculum for the junior school kids, but she's also doing our yoga sessions with our hockey team still, which is, for those that don't know, Darlene is also the strength and conditioning coach for our prep hockey team. So I've got to see what she's been doing at home. I also happen to be friends with her son, so I know the spaces that she's using in her home to get her practices across. But I just think it's interesting for teachers that are teaching from home. You really only need your internet and a desk. But for a phys ed teacher, it's a whole different ball game where, Dar, you're trying to create the right space and environment so that they can see you and get your energy in the field. So can you just touch on what you're doing to create that kind of ambiance or energy in your sessions?
My gosh, you really want to hear this? My husband will tell you we have Studio A in the house and we have Studio B in the house. And Studio A is upstairs in the dining room, which no longer has a dining room table. All the furniture is being shoved into the living room because I need space for moving and doing the videos. And Studio B is taken over one of the bedrooms down in the basement. All the furniture has been moved out of that space, and even to the point where I didn't like the color of the wall because it was too dark, and all my tights and most of my clothing is dark, and so I needed to paint the wall to create.
Not paint the wall.
I totally did. Just one wall, just the back wall, feature wall, because now I don't have to buy new clothes.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Actually, I'm not even surprised by that.
No, I know it's totally ridiculous. I get it. But I try to follow a mantra that is about preparation, and it goes like this: proper preparation prevents poor performance. So for me, that's part of it.
And a tongue twister for sure. So obviously you've spent some time with the junior school students and with Blazers prep hockey team, but there's another amazing team who's trained by you and other BH faculty who would normally be using our athletic center right now. How has Kemosabe continue to stay active during this time?
And so the Kemosabe team, it is a group of women. There's some 60 this year. I think actually we might have 70, 75 members to the Kemosabe Dragon Boat team. And they are a group of women who have been coming to BH for, my gosh, I've been with them for more than 15 years, and I wasn't even there at the beginning, but they've been coming to our school to train for their dragon boat races. So once a week, several staff members and other people meet with these women, and what makes them special, of course, is, I mean, they're all amazing, fabulous people, but what makes their group unique is that they're all breast cancer survivors, or they are currently engaged in having breast cancer treatments. So they're a pretty inspiring group of people to work with. And they are now meeting on Zoom, just like many others. And it's a pretty interesting Zoom group. I popped in on one of their meetings last week, and to have that many people in a Zoom meeting, it's pretty crazy. But next week I'll be leading a workout for them over Zoom, and so it'll be my first Zoom workout with that many people. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I know that your students miss you. I'm sure that the athletes miss you. I know that all of the staff misses you. So thank you very much for allowing us all to hear your voice today, and keep up the great work.
Thanks so much. Love seeing you all.
Roast the host.
It's that time again for our top-rated segment, Roast the Host, where we test each other on things we believe the other person should know. John currently leads 3-1, but I still have a point pending as we wait for the NHL's return. Now, we've done things a little bit differently all episodes, so I think we'll keep that theme going by asking each of you a question. How does that sound?
Perfect.
I got the first question right. I feel like I'm on a roll.
Yeah, I'm curious about whether the point system, are these points legit? Like, are they going into the box scores?
Since this is a very important competition, points will be awarded.
Okay, there's pressure then. There's pressure.
Boots, you will be playing for John, and Zach, you will be playing for me. And here are the questions, both of which are related to the BH Blazers prep hockey program. Boots, we'll start with you. Who were the first 5 people involved in planning the Blazers prep inaugural season?
Okay. Tina Alto, Mandy Green, Dean Rebeck, Claire Summerless. I'm stuck.
All right. Well, the first 3 were absolutely correct. The last 2, Bob Willett and Rob Van Denneker. So that was a valiant effort. Very well done.
I wouldn't have got it anyway. I would have got the 3 that you got.
Sorry, Johnny.
All right.
I would have had Ron, but I wouldn't have had the 5th. Who is the 5th again there, Willy?
Bob Willett.
No, don't know who that is.
All right. So, Sarah, are you ready?
I hope it's as tough as that question.
I'm ready here, Willy. Let's go. We got this.
Trying to even it up.
I would never use this to try to even the score, John. Where exactly was the Blazers prep program discussed for the very first time?
Mandy Green's kitchen is what I have been told.
Is that your official answer?
That's my official answer.
Unfortunately, while that may have been the first meeting, the first actual conversation that was had was somewhere where most conversations about things begin, and that is in the BH mailroom. So no points were awarded. The score remains 3-1 for John, but that was a great effort.
3 people who have never been in my kitchen.
And that's it for Roast the Host. So this week on social media, we posted another check-in with the BH community question where we asked you, the listeners, a check-in question similar to the ones we ask in our class. John, do you have this week's question?
Well, seeing as how we focused on sports and we've heard both Sarah and Regan talk all about being a multi-sport athlete and all those great other opportunities to stay fit. Maddie referenced, 3 workouts a day, and we tempered that with maybe 3 workouts a week. But the question this week is, how have you been staying active, or how have you participated in the sports that you love that obviously are changing a great deal moving forward? But so that would be the question this week.
So there are 3 ways now you can answer this week's check-in question. You can email your response to bhpodcast@balmoralhall.ca. You could post a video reply to the question using the Flipgrid link that's posted in the show notes. And now you can also answer the check-in question right in Instagram on the BH Instagram story. So please connect with us, and we may share your thoughts on next week's episode. As we end episode 6, we'd like to thank our guests for taking the time to chat with us this week. Thank you to junior school phys ed teacher Darlene Sveinson for highlighting the amazing activities our junior school students are still able to take part in. Also, thank you to our BH sports captain Madison Allard for her amazing advice about staying active and staying positive during these uncertain times. Hey, a big shout out to both Coach Zach and Coach Boots for joining us for almost the entire episode. I hope you enjoyed your time with us and maybe even willing to come back again.
Absolutely. Johnny, Willy, Chris, thanks for having us. That was a blast, and we'll be back for sure.
Thanks, guys. As always, Boots and I say that it feels like our hockey team is a family, and I would extend that to our entire community here. It's amazing that we're able to stay connected through this podcast. So thanks, you guys, for all the work that you're putting into this, and thank you very much for having us.
Awesome. And as always, thanks to Mr. John Kerr for his insight, the laughs, and the company.
Fun to be here, and I'm going to end it on the Karate Kid. Hi-ya!
And finally, a big thanks to producer Chris in the booth, always taking care of us, and for keeping time and for keeping score. We'll be back next week with episode 7, where we'll chat with BH Student Activities Coordinator Mandy Green about the 2020 prefect elections and how different this year's election was. We'll also catch up with some of the newly elected prefects, and we'll preview the Doll Assembly, which will be taking place virtually on May 29th. That and more metaphors, stories, and fun. Thank you so much for listening every week. Until next time, friends.
Bye, folks.
What Makes You Say That is a Balmoral Hall School production, all rights reserved.